Hi everyone, it's Shams at Mascara, and today I'm going to be showing you how to apply the soft gel full cover tips onto your nails. This is going to be an easy one, so be sure to keep watching. So to get started, you're going to need a few important products. So let's go through that list. You will need your Mascara Dehydrate, Mascara Protein Bond, a Mascara Supreme Base Coat, preferably the clear base coat, a mascara top coat. I love the carbon top coat, but you can use any top coat from our range, but it's important to have a top coat to seal your job at the end. Let's go through a list of the important equipment pieces you're going to need. You're going to need a mascara nail file, and this is going to be to shape your nails. You will need a buffer for your prep work, the mascara cuticle pusher. I love this little metal pusher. You're also going to need a mascara cuticle nipper, and this is going to be great for just nipping off little dead skins. I'm going to be using my mascara e-file as well, just to show you how easy that makes the process. And most important, you're going to need your mascara soft gel tips, and you can have these in the length and shape that you prefer. Today, I'm going to be doing one of my favorite shapes, and that's the almond nail. And most importantly, you are going to need your Mascara 45 watt curing lamp, which is going to be your full power cure lamp for this application. And to make the application so much easier, get yourself the Mascara flash cure lamp. Put this bloody paper on the desk. To start off your soft gel tip application, you are going to need to go through your box, and we are going to select the sizes that fits your nails perfectly. So I'm going to be checking that this tip fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. That's the most important. And we can adjust the length by where we actually position the tip on the nail. So for this application, you're going to notice that I'm going to apply it slightly away from the cuticle, but there's method to the madness. And you will see that when it comes to the end and we have to file it, it's going to make life so much easier. So let's do this, and let's go step by step so that you can see just how easy this whole application is. So I'm going to start by selecting two sizes. I'm going to go with a 0, which is the biggest size in the set. And then I'm also going to take a number 1. And I'm going to show you just how to size these tips to be sure that we've got it perfect. So I'm taking the number 1 and I'm going to apply it to the nail, and I'm just going to leave it a little bit away from my cuticle, so just a little space at the top. And what I want to make sure of is that I've got a comfortable fit. Now what I'm feeling now at the moment is that I can feel it's a little bit tight. And even if you look at my nail bed, you can see that it's showing me it's a little bit of a tight fit here, Shams. So we need to go one size bigger. So I'm going to try the 0, which is one size bigger, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to lay it on the nail and feel how it feels. You will feel that's a comfortable fit. And remember, if you're doing this with somebody else, you can actually chat to them and ask them how it feels. So you can ask your customer, does it feel too tight? Does it feel comfortable? It's a good way to guide you through the process, especially if you are a beginner. So I'm going to lay the number, which is 0, on my nail, and I can feel that this one fits much better. But okay, here's one little thing. I can see that it is just a tad bit too big. So what I can do now is, instead of forcing the smaller tip on the nail, I'm going to go with the one that's slightly bigger, and we can use our nail file to adjust the sides. So I can actually file my tip just to take away a little bit of that side wall that's causing the oversize to happen. And what you do to the one side, you want to do to the other side. So I filed away on the one side, and then on the opposite side, I'm going to do exactly the same. This just keeps things even. And I'm just going to take away a little bit of that excess plastic on the soft gel tip. And now I'm just going to give it one more fit onto my nail. Okay, so I can feel that feels much better, and I've got a perfect fit, and it's not putting any pressure onto my nail bed, and most importantly, I'm not going to have any pinching that's going to happen as I wear the tip after the application. So let's go with the 0, guys, and we're going to do our application with this tip. So once you've got all your sizes, you're going to go through your box and you're going to select all your sizes and customize them. We're going to start the preparation procedure. So this is going to be the most important step to making these tips last. So follow these steps and don't miss any of the information that I'm going to share with you now, because we want them to stay. So listen to Shams. So what we're going to do is using our cuticle pusher, which is this really stunning little metal pusher from Maskscara. You're going to use it and you're going to push back on that cuticle area. Now, these little pushers come with little grit pads, if you want to call them that. They're like little nail files, little baby nail files, and it has a adhesive backing which you can peel away, and then you can stick them onto your little nail file. So let's see if we can just pull this little adhesive pad away, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our little pusher and stick it down onto the pad, and there we go. As easy as that, I've got the little pad stuck onto the cuticle pusher. Now I'm going to start the whole pushing procedure, and this little grit pad is just amazing because it's going to, I like to call it exfoliating. It's going to basically lift all the little dead skin cells that are sitting on the back of the nail, and it's a good way for beginners to start out. I guess for a beginner, you might feel a bit intimidated by using an electric nail file. So you can use this and it will do just the same job. It might take a little bit longer, but it's really going to help you. So we're going to start by filing along that edge and lifting all the cuticle skins away. And you really want to prep around the cuticle area, because in general we find that lifting happens when people don't prep around the side walls and around the cuticles. So keep prepping that area until you are happy that you've got a good clean surface, and at the same time this little tool is pushing back the cuticles. So it's like a 2-in-1. I really like that. So we go down the side walls and across the side wall on the other side, and we make sure that we've got a nice clean surface. And once we've prepped out that surface, I'm going to move on to the white block buff, which is a very underrated little piece of equipment in your box, guys. So we're going to use our white block and we're going to go over the nail surface and just lightly buff away the shine on the rest of the natural nail. So there's 2 things I want you to take notice of here. We've avoided doing some serious overfile work, which often happens in a preparation procedure, and we want to avoid overfiling the natural nail. Our main goal is to make sure that we preserve that nail and that it's in a good condition even when the customer wants to have their soft gel removed. So make sure that you don't over buff. All you need to do is just concentrate on the cuticle and use a buffer to remove the shine on the surface. Right, so I'm happy that I have prepped out my surface. It seems nice and clean. I'm going to use a dusting brush just to get all the little dust particles away, all that excess dust. And then, if you do notice any lifted bits of skin, you can use your cuticle nipper, and this cuticle nipper we can use just to go in and lift and nip only those little lifted bits of skin away. There's no real need to go along and nip all the healthy skin away that is around the cuticle area. This can cause the skin to grow back thicker. So only the little pieces that needs to be nipped away is where you would place your concentration. So I'm just going in and taking all those little nipped pieces away. And now I have a nail that's ready for the exciting part of the journey, We are now ready to put this nail onto our finger. So for that, we're going to start with dehydrate. So dehydrate, it's a little bit of a controversial product. Some say we need it, some say we don't, but I'm going to tell you why you need it. This product is actually going to temporarily dry the surface of the nail. What its function is, it's actually cleaning the nail surface off, and it's preparing the perfect nail surface for your primer. So now that I've got all the oils on the surface and all the dust which has been taken away by the dehydrate, I have now got a really good surface for my primer to bond onto. So it makes sense to have a little dehydrate in your kit. So we're going to use Protein Bond. And what we're going to do with Protein Bond is we're just going to apply a thin layer onto our nail. So don't over prime the nail. There's no reason to apply double layers or too many wetting layers, as we call them, with the primer. This can oversaturate the nail with primer. And if you have oversaturation of primer, you don't give it a chance to actually dry and do its job properly, it can lead to reactions. So be careful how you work with primer. And you will also notice that during that application, we didn't have any excess product running onto the skin. So you want to work sparingly so that we avoid having products running all over the skin, guys. Now, once we've primed that nail, we're going to give it like 10 seconds just to settle on the surface and to start doing its job, and it's getting ready to bond. We are now going to go in with the Supreme base coat. So Supreme is going to form our first layer onto the nail. So this coat that we're putting on now, I like to call it like a protective layer. So this is just going to be a very straightforward application, and it's going to be a thin layer of product onto the nail. So picking up just a little bit of product, we are going to apply a very thin layer onto our customer's nail. So we're going to paint down. Make sure you get it nice and neat around that cuticle area. Again, we don't need too much product on the brush, so we don't have that excess. It only needs to be a really thin layer on the nail. And the nice thing about Supreme that I want you guys to remember is that Supreme self-levels. So even if it's looking uneven, just give it a minute and you will see that it actually evens out on the surface of the nail. And then there will be no need to go back and do 110 brush strokes. Just a few strokes of the application and it will level out on the nail on its own. Right, so I've got my Supreme on the nail. It's all looking really good. And we are going to cure this in our 45 watt mascara lamp, and we're going to cure for 60 seconds. Right, so let's bring our lamp a little bit closer. So power on our lamp. And we're going to do a 60-second cure. So 60 seconds, here we go. And this is a good time to actually tell you just a little bit more about this lamp. There's so many settings on the lamp, and a lot of times people get confused with what all the buttons are for. So 30 seconds is normally what we would use for a flash cure. So that's if you're doing nail art and you want things just to stay in place, you can use 30 seconds. 60 seconds is the standard cure time for all our gel polish systems. And then we have a very special setting, which is the 99-second setting. So this is what we call a low heat setting, and it takes you through different stages of curing. So if you are doing applications that are slightly thicker, and if you enjoy working with builder gels, we would suggest using the 99 seconds. It will be a longer cure. It's like 120. It's going to take you through, I would say, about a minute longer than you would normally cure. But work on that slow curing settings, because it's actually going to avoid you from having bead spikes unnecessarily, and it's also going to make sure that those thicker layers have a chance to cure, because we're having a slower curing process taking place. So it really is good to know what all those little buttons are for. So I've got my nail cured now. That's been a minute. And now we are ready for the exciting part. We are going to be putting our tip onto this nail. So what we're going to do is we have our tip, which we filed and prepped on the sides. And now we need to do one important step. I need to prep the inside of this nail. Now there's two ways that you can do this. You can use a little bit of acetone on a brush and you can brush the inside of the nail, and that will help to actually etch the inside of the tip for bonding. Your next option is if you have a mascara e-file, you can use your e-file to actually prep the inside of the tip. So I'm going to be using my e-file just to file the inside of my nail tip, and I'm going to use it on its lowest speed and just file on the inside of my nail. And this is just to roughen up the surface. This is going to help you get good bonding on the surface of the nail. So you don't want to file too much, just lightly on the surface to get that surface ready for bonding. And here's a little tip. If you have all your tips ready for application, you can just go ahead and file them all at one go, and then they're all good to go for application after that. Right, so I'm going to bring in my flash cure lamp, and this is just going to be a little bit closer for me when it comes to application, and I'm going to show you how you can use this, especially if you're a one-man show. We are now going to use our Supreme base coat, and I'm going to apply a little layer onto the inside of my tip. So a thin layer on the inside. I would say the best way to explain this is where you file the inside, that's where you're going to apply. And then just a little drop on the back and around the sides, so that you've got enough product for bonding inside the nail. Right, so here we go, everybody, the most important part. I'm going to show you, I'm going to switch my lamp on, and this is going to help me with my application. I'm going to apply it a little bit away, and I'm going to rock it down onto my nail. And then we're going to hold that under our flash cure lamp, just to make sure that we've got everything cured in place. And then just a reminder, I've applied this a little bit away from the cuticle area, and that is because when it comes to the filing part, it's going to have a really good flush finish when we are done. So once we've flash cured our tip into place, and that's all it takes to have your tip secured onto the nail without any air bubbles. We want to avoid those air bubbles. I'm now going to use my mascara full cure lamp, and we are just going to make sure that we full power cure it on 60 seconds to secure that tip fully. Remember, flash curing is only going to partially cure your gels. It's there just to help you through that difficult process of getting the tips to stay on the nail. But we need to give it a full cure so that the gel fully cures all the way through, and this way we can avoid getting allergic reactions. So the flash cure lamp will always go in combination with your full power lamp as well. So always remember that one. Don't use it on its own. Don't be tempted to skip this part, guys. This is actually a very important part, because this is the part where we want to avoid overexposure. Right, so we are ready to go. So you can see that I've got my tip in place, nice and secure on my nail. And now comes the exciting part. We are going to file and shape and do our final setting of this tip. So I like to push on the sides of my finger just to make sure that if I've got anything stuck on the skin, it does happen sometimes, that I'm able to get it away and file it away. So we don't leave it on the skin. We're actually going to use our file, and we are going to file just to shape our side walls so that we don't have any excess overhang or anything that looks like it's a little bit odd and it shouldn't be there. In general, most of the time with a full cover tip, the advantage is that the filing is very minimal. And that's just that. I've actually filed my side and it's already done. So if that doesn't convince you that this is the way to go, I don't know what will. So now we're going to do our area which is closest to the cuticle, and this is the area that we want to seal down. You can use an e-file to do this, or you can use a hand file. But I think for the purposes of those who may not have an e-file, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it with a hand file. Also, I think the greatest thing about this is that you don't have to spend hours shaping your nail to that perfect almond shape, because it's all done for you with soft gel tips. So now, still using my mascara file, I'm going to go around that sealed area, and where I've left that little space, it now makes it so much easier for me to blend this tip down. So starting from the one side of my hand, I'm going to file over to the other side. And this feels so comfortable and lightweight on my hand. I don't feel any tightness around the side of my finger. It doesn't feel uncomfortable in any way at all. So if you are a nail tech who has been wearing acrylics or just the general gel build for so many years, you're probably going to be surprised at how comfortable these tips actually feel once you've got them applied onto your hand. And it's so easy and so time saving to actually do this. So keep filing until you've got that little seam nicely blended, and then we can take our nail file and you can actually file down to the rest of the surface. So what you want to do here is make sure that you're not going to take away the shape of the nail. We're only going to remove some of the surface shine. So I'm just going to go over the whole surface of the nail and remove some of that shine, because we are now prepping the nail for those that might want to wear color. And if you are going to reinforce this nail, then you need to have all that shine removed on the surface, and this is just going to help with the bonding of your soft gel tip onto the nail. So down the sides. You can also use your little white block just to finish off if there's any little spaces that you've missed. And we're going to file down on our corners. And I'm going to use my dusting brush and once again get into all those little nooks and crannies just to make sure that you've got all the dust removed. Just going down into my corners. And this is the part where I can get a little bit finicky, guys, because I tend to like things to be like 100% perfect. Or at least my perfect. So we file down into the corners. Just going to bring in that one side wall again that I'm wanting to shape. Take it into my other side. And there we go. Guys, we have a nail. And there we've got a perfectly applied almond full cover tip on our nail, which was so easy. So if you want to strengthen this nail up, you're going to use your Supreme to do one coat over the surface. Now this coat is going to be your protective coat. It's going to structure your soft gel and make it a little bit more stronger if that's what you're looking for. So let's go in with the Supreme gel and give it that one final coat for that extra little bit of strength. And one thing that's really good about this is that there's no need to apply the dehydrate or the primer. You can go straight in with your Supreme gel and strengthen up that layer. So I'm going to do a thin coat of Supreme all the way over my full cover tip. And you can make sure that area that we've sealed up, you want to make sure that you cover that with a Supreme as well. So we're going to go all the way into that corner. Make sure we've got a good cover up around the cuticle and all the way down. So you will notice, guys, that this was really a really thin coat that I've done here, because I plan to do some amazing nail art on this when we're done. So we're going to go in with our Supreme. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And once you have it all in place, remember, this is going to get a 60-second cure in your 45-watt mascara lamp. So let's give it a cure. Okay, and again, just remember guys, curing is important. So we're giving it a cure, and then you can decide what you want to do once you've had that Supreme applied on your tip. You can go in straight with your color, you can go in straight with nail art. There is so many options and the possibilities are endless. So there's so many shapes to choose from as well. So besides the almond, there's stiletto, there's square, there is just options of long and short. Guys, it's exciting stuff. You've got to get into the soft gel tip game. And once we've got it applied, you can now see that I have a beautiful nail that was quick and easy with minimal effort to apply onto my natural nail. It's got a beautiful arch and it's everything that you would want if you were looking for the perfect almond nail. So I'm gonna say, try the Maskscara Soft Gel tips today. And if you want to be more involved and get more education, remember we have amazing online courses on our website that you can have a look at, and you can become a certified mascara tech. So I hope this video helped, and we'll see you soon for more. Remember to like and subscribe.